So, girls, welcome.
So this is gonna be really fun. It can be such a pressure to date. It's like a crazy story, but like for me, this is like
I was going to church because my parents were
No, maybe.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Girl Talk. Today we have an awesome topic. We are going to be talking about friendship, and there are just so many things I think that you can talk about when it comes to friendship.
Yeah,
so
it's true.
we will probably be covering a bit about female friendships, how we have had friends throughout our years, what we've learned about friendship, and then also even like the questions of, can girls be friends with guys?
Good question.
It's a genuine question. Like, who knows? So to start off, I wanted to ask you guys first, one big thing is what is the most important thing of friendship? Like, what makes a friendship?
I mean, it sounds obvious, but loyalty. Honesty is a massive thing for me, and loyalty, like just down to like little things, you know. I think it's really hard for me if someone has lied to me or breaks my trust or there's loyalty missing. Just friendship, I find it. Not that I find it hard to forgive, I forgive, but I find it hard to trust again. So, and also humor is a massive part.
Oh, like, so true.
Heck yeah.
Not be friends with people.
Yeah,
that
I
aren't
think for
funny.
me, I would be like same. Like obviously, loyalty is huge.
Yeah.
Because I want to be a loyal friend, and I think also confrontation. Because like I think you're helping me to grow to be a better friend, better person. So I think I'm like when I think of confrontation, like I think of my best friend Erin. Like her and I, we always know where we're at with each other. When we hurt each other, we talk about it, and then we move on. You know.
Yeah,
I think your
good.
friendship grows, you grow. So I think I would say loyalty, confrontation, and fun, honestly. And you can just be 100% yourself.
Yeah, I think for me it's in the same way. It's trust.
Yeah.
If you can trust and you can be yourself, and also I think being vulnerable, it's a big thing. And when you can be vulnerable with someone and you have the safe place, safe person to talk about anything, it's like really important.
Totally.
Very big.
Yeah, it's interesting because even the word like loyalty, for example, I feel like the way people read that can really vary. Because probably for me, one of the biggest things that I value in friendship, which I think we've kind of all covered, is that thing of people just being real and really being themselves, like knowing that they're their authentic self with you.
Yes.
And I think one for me as well is knowing that my friends are growing me and that like, we keep on talking about growing.
That is our word today.
We're all about growth. But yeah, just like knowing that I'm actually being challenged and pushed by my friends even. But this is something that I think we were talking about this one time even where some people would view loyalty as regardless of whether you think I'm right or wrong, like you back me and you agree with me and you support me in that. You disagree. Yeah, what do you think it is?
I think loyalty is more just being honest with you regardless, you know. You can say things in a nice way, but I would much rather have a friend who would say, actually, you were wrong in that. That was not a good thing to do.
Yeah.
You need to make that right. Then say, oh yeah, totally, you were like, because I'm wrong sometimes. I need someone checking my blind spots, you know.
Yes,
and a real
100%.
friend's gonna do that. And I think it's really hard if you've got a friend who just like agrees with you on everything, you know, because you just know they're not being honest.
same,
Because definitely, if somebody is agreeing with me with 100% of what I say, there is something wrong. Because I am not right all the time.
And you can usually pick it up when a friend is just constantly just saying, oh yeah, totally. And I'm like, okay, no, seriously, what do you think though? You know?
It's so true.
Do you think that would also come with time? Because I won't just be like, at first I just met someone.
Oh yeah,
and,
no, for sure.
or like it's just in the beginning of a
wrong. You
I
saw
won't be your friend after that, I think.
it so hard.
yeah, it's definitely got to grow.
Yeah,
100%.
it's something. I think it's with time you're gonna find that, and then you feel more comfortable with your friends, and then you can say. Because I think for me, going again on like my background in Brazil and everything, I think it's really easy to be open with people, but it's really hard to be deep. So being a deep friendship, you know, I always struggle a lot with friendship because I had to move so many times to a new school, to a new church, a new state, new town. So I moved so many times, and every time I would have to leave, that would hurt so much. So I was like protecting myself, you know. So for some, I feel like for some people it's a bit easier to be like that, and for some others it's just like not that simple to be.
I think I so often get like missed because I'm very outgoing and like I can have no, it's shocks for people. I'm really outgoing and I can easily like strike a conversation with like a lot of people. But I have like trust issues that I'm working on. But like I have like my close knit friends who I truly trust with everything, my darkest secrets, you know, and stuff like that. So I think so often like I don't know, because you're kind of similar, like outgoing. Do you ever get mistaken, like, oh man, you have so many like best friends? And I'm like, actually, no, I don't.
Oh, 100%. I think people think that I'm friends with, like really deep friends with far more people than I actually am.
Same.
And I think like within myself, it's actually quite a small select group of people who I'm like really close with. But even that, it is hard. Like, I don't know if I would know where to draw the line of where just as a person, I'm really open with anyone. Like pretty much anyone could ask me questions and I'd be like, oh yeah, this is what like I did with my life or whatever. But I don't know if always I like notice or even know exactly the difference between then what makes someone like being deep with a close friend or just being like deep and open with anyone. And I think one thing obviously for a lot of people is just time, like is having friends throughout their whole life. And that's one thing is like, would you guys have any friends that have been like childhood friends that you still have today? Have you found that actually your childhood friends are not your friends anymore? How's that been for?
I would say I would have 4 childhood friends that we're still friends today. And it's kind of crazy. Like I could go without seeing them for like 2 years. And then when we see each other, we pick up where we left off. It's just like not time has gone past and stuff. And then there's some childhood friends that we've literally gone our separate ways. You know, life catches up to us and stuff. But yeah, no, I think those are the really important, like I love those friendships. And I think for me, like I'm a very loyal friend. And I think when I finally built that deep relationship, it's forever. And I think that's a lot with my childhood friends that I have today.
So with that, because obviously I assume your childhood friends are in Canada. So that was a question I was going to ask, like what do you guys find the difference with long distance friends and friends that you see every day? Because I think it's something I find really hard to adjust to coming. I'd always lived in the same place, but since I moved into community and I made friends from around the world, now establishing friendships and having friendships across the world, I actually found that so hard to adjust to.
That's so wild you asked this because I was thinking about this yesterday actually, because obviously with the time difference and like, you know, life just catches up to us. Like you're so busy with stuff. It is tricky. It was tricky at first. I'm like, how am I going to keep my friendships there and my new friendships here? Like, do you know? But I think the friends that are, you know, that are lifetime friendship and that you've created that friendship, it just doesn't matter. Like one of my other best friends, Jessica, when I go home is like, we could go with a year not talking to each other, but when I go home, like, you know, it's just like, man, it's like I've never moved away. You know? But I get it. It's like trying to balance that. I think it's where your friendship is at.
I completely understand. I feel so bad for my best friend because she sometimes she's in Brazil and sometimes we don't talk for like 2 months. And then when we talk to each other again, it's like we never stop talking. But we really miss each other. She's that kind of friend that I can count in anything. If I'm happy, if I'm sad, if I'm struggling with something, or if she's struggling with something, like we always have this very fluid conversation, you know? But I feel really bad because I'm the kind of friend that I don't really need to talk to you every day to still be your friend. If we stay 2 weeks, even if we live around the same place, if I didn't see or didn't talk to you, when I see you, it'll be fine. But not all of my friends feel the same.
Understand that,
So that is really hard for me sometimes because some of my friends, they need to talk or like they want to be around me because they're friends. And I'm like, that's fine. Just let me know when you want to hang out. And then they're like, well, you need to come as well and say, let's do something. And I'm like, it's not very natural
I'm a really needy friend, I feel. It's really really hard for me, like, when I came and I started having friends in different countries, because I'm the friend that I like to keep up with my friends quite regularly. Like, my closest, oldest friend at home, we can go a long time, but I'm always like, talk to me, why aren't you talking to me? And I really had to learn to grow in that. But I think my friends, once I establish that they're not going anywhere, I chill out quite a lot. Like my best friend, he lives in the Netherlands, and like originally I'd be like, why aren't you messaging me back? And then we just established that we just have lives and it's okay. And it's something I really had to grow in.
I think I'm in the middle. I think like I'm with you. Like with certain friends, just pick up where I left off with them, and then other friends, it's just like, okay, it's your turn to initiate. Like, it's like it's in the middle. Like it's just like, because you want to, because I think when like part of growing. Here's the word again, growing.
So girls who grow.
Girls to grow. What was I gonna say? With that, it's just like I had to learn. I'm like, it's okay. I'm stop being needy. You know, like it's fine. Like your friend, I'm gonna believe if there's, if I've done something, they're gonna talk to you. Just because if they don't talk to you doesn't mean like, oh my gosh, she's so mad at me. Blah 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 blah. Right. But it's just, I think I'm like in the middle. Like I don't think you need to talk and hang out every day. But I think it is good to check in and like
And I think I'm probably more like you, Leiji, where like I just feel like throughout my life I've made so many connections, and I think a lot of that comes from I grew up in like YWAM Youth with a Mission. I met people from different countries all the time, like every 6 months it was changing. And so me and one of my really good friends have this kind of like motto slogan, which is JBP, which means just be present.
I like it.
And we like, it's because of that whole thing of like in life, like being present, enjoying the moment, enjoying who you're with. But I think it is like inevitably just going to be difficult, because when you're trying to be present where you are, connecting with the people around you, then it does mean that you can kind of like lose contact with your friends
100%,
who maybe you were like really intentionally, and in like you had a season of like seeing them all the time. So I've just had that. I came out of university. I have really great friends that I met through university. We like lived together, a group of us girls, we get on super well. And we've had 3 years of like intense, like seeing one another every day.
I love it.
And now it's like, I'll like talk to them maybe like once every like month or two. And I feel bad because I do feel like kind of bad about it, because it's hard. You want them to know that you love them, and you want them to know that you care about them.
But are they okay with it? Like you feel bad, but are they cool with you just checking in every 2 months or whatever?
I think there's like a mix again. So I think honestly, like what we're hearing here, I think is the mix of my friends, where there are some who are super like, oh, I literally like could not see you for ages, not talk to you for ages, it's chill.
Right.
And then there are others where I've recognized that they really value when I reach out, and they really value when there's like regular points of contact. And so I think it is just figuring out those things and working with them. But I've noticed like a few of you, I think Beth and Leiji, you both talked about best friends. And so I wanted to talk about that, is what are best friends? Do you think that there is only ever one best friend? Because I think there's a lot of like touchiness around the conversation and the term best friend. People can get quite hurt by it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's so true.
Good point.
Okay, growing up, we had a huge group of friends. And there's like, 7 of us in the group. And one would be like, oh, this is my best friend, and the other one get offended. So I took best friend as kind of catty. So for me, it's just like best friend. So I was like, it's a catty thing, But for me personally, I don't have that one best friend that I'm like, this is the only best friend. I have a lot of really close girlfriends, and I don't think I have like one best friend.
Mine changes a lot. I mean,
like, and it changes,
I say at the moment, my best friend is in the Netherlands, but he's my closest friend right now. So I call my best friend. But then I also have at home, like my oldest friend, who like I've been like, she's just been my person since I was like 13, and we just kind of done life together. I call her my best friend too. Do you know what I mean? So I think it changes a lot. I think I know that. I've had, how many best friends have I had? But it's not like I pick one exclusive person and they're like, you are that person now, until they kind of go off. I think it changes a lot.
Until they move on to the next best friend.
Yeah, definitely.
I think for me, my best friend, the one I was talking, she's the oldest friend that I have today. As I said, I moved so many times during my life. To be exactly, I changed. Like moving houses 38 times before I get married.
Cheapers.
and I lived in 3 or 4 different states in Brazil. So I cannot even count how many different schools I went to.
Yeah.
So the longest friend that I have, it's like 7 years now. That's the longest friendship that I have. So for me, she's my best friend, because even through all of like me moving to another country, getting married and everything, she was always the friend that stayed right there. So
amazing.
that's why I have her as my best friend. And maybe she's not the friend that I talk most of the time, or the one that I like, I don't know, when I need some help, you know, something different. Maybe she's not the one, but she's the one that always stays there. So that's how I see her.
That's awesome.
I think I had it quite easy, because I would often say that my best friend was my sister, and I only have one sister. So when you have one sister who you get on really well with, then it kind of like deals with that. But I think it's interesting, because I remember when I was younger, just the term, but I think because it's kind of exclusive in some ways to some people, where it's like you are the best friend, you are my favorite person kind of concept. Like when I was younger, I remember actually like you could have a really great friendship with someone, like really great friendship, but then you'd have this thing of like, oh, are we best friends? And if they like didn't say that you were, you just experience so much insecurity from it and be like, oh my gosh, like obviously like you don't care about me at all.
It just becomes kind of like, really.
And I think something that like I've learned as I've been growing up, and was something I would have liked to have known when I was younger, was this thing of you're going to get different things from different people. And actually, like it's great to have a mix of friends, because what I get from being friends with Leiji will be very different from what I get with being friends with Beth or Sion. And like it's quite kind of like marriage as well, we were talking about it, but like it's quite unrealistic to think that there's going to be one person who you're going to be friends with who is going to be your best friend, 100%. Fulfill everything. And I think it takes the pressure off you as well when you're someone's friend to have to be everything for them.
Like it's interesting you said that, because like I have a friend that literally makes me laugh till I cry. I have a friend, it's like my wise friend where I go for advice. I have a friend, obviously, you know, I have a friend that, you know, would put me in my place. You know, you just do have different friends
you
for.
Need them.
Also, I want to ask you girls. So ever since I was little, I had variety of different friends, like age group of friends. So from like 18 to literally 50, like that's just how I am. Like I didn't have like, oh no, I can only be friends with people with my age. No. It's all. Are you guys the same?
Like when I was growing up, I didn't have any kind of friends different ages, so mine always happened to be. It's only been coming into community where I've made friends with other ages that now I do, and it's so rich. And there's different friends from different cultures as well. Like different cultures, different ages. Like I really value different things from different people. Like I think my closest friend, he's Dutch, so the Dutch honesty is something I need sometimes. I love it. No sugarcoating, tell you how it is.
Come on.
But if I need like a soft touch and a cuddle, I'll go to a Brazilian friend. Nurturing. And there's all different ages. You know, if you need advice, you go to someone older. And there's something really, really rich about that. And I feel like I've missed out. Like I think that's something I would say. Like growing. If I could talk to my 16-year-old self, it would be try and find friends with different ages or different cultures, not people that have lived the same life as you in the same ages, because they can only do so much. You can only learn so much. You've got so much more room to grow with different people.
By the way, there's some Dutch people that are nurturing, like my mom.
I'm not saying that.
No, I know.
My friend is nurturing in his own way as well.
I had the same in terms of being friends with different ages. Growing up in YWAM, I was like, my friends were like the 3-year-old who I babysat up to the like 60-year-old who I'd go have tea with. Do you know what I mean?
So good.
And it was funny because when I was homeschooled till I was 13, when I went into school, and it was seen as like, it was really looked down on if you interacted with anyone in the year below or the year above. It was like you only talk to people your year group. Strange, And I remember just thinking like, this is so weird. Like, why is it so divided in like year groups?
Yeah, true.
And I still think that that's kind of weird, to be honest. And that should change. But
like, please.
But I want to go on to, because I said at the beginning we were going to talk about this, and I feel like, Beth, you'd be a great person to ask. this whole topic of can girls be like best friends with guys and purely just friends? Like, can they just be friends, or do they always inevitably end up fancying one another and dating?
Dun, dun, dun.
So you have a male best friend.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, sure. I think, this question comes up a lot, like with feelings and liking them. I think, yes, initially with any guy friend, maybe at some point if you're getting intimate or close to someone, there is maybe sometimes there's an attraction that you have to kind of step over or just kind of realize. You have to learn, I think something I've learned is to be okay with having attractive friends as well.
Yeah.
And being okay with that and knowing that doesn't always have to go somewhere. Yeah. And actually there is such value in having, like my guy friend was such a healing thing for me having him, because with guys in the past I had a lot of trust issues, a lot of issues with men, and actually having a friend who there was nothing other than brotherly love and having that is really, really great. And you don't have to worry about like trying to impress them or trying to be attractive around them. You can just slump out and get like really good advice. So I think yes, you can definitely be friends with guys. I think you just have to, if you feel like there's an attraction there, you can get over it. It doesn't mean you have to be with them or you have to leave. I think so many people, they get scared off. They're like, I'm attracted to them, I've got to get away, or I'm attracted to them, we have to get married. So I think learning to get to be okay with being attracted, and it will just leave.
I think a hard line as well is like recognizing where you may be attracted to the person and the like friendship that you have and their personality, but it doesn't mean that you guys actually work as a couple.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
That's a really good point.
And being able to draw the line and go, hey, listen, like, actually, I think you're an incredible person. I would like tell any female friend of mine that they should date you. But actually for us, like that just the dynamic wouldn't work.
I could never date my best friend. He would drive me crazy. Like we know that. Like he would annoy me so much, and me the same with him. So I think it is true to have like you know, we've all brothers. You've got brothers.
I've got 7, baby. 7.
Like you can have such a great intimate relationship with someone, and obviously like not, and just it's great. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I think for myself, like I've always gotten better with guys than girls.
Yeah, same.
I think it's just the truth. I think growing up with 7 brothers, that helped. So they were like my first guy friends, really. Yeah. And I like so often look to them for like advice on like, you know, guys growing up, like, you know, whether it be if I was interested in a guy, like what do you think I should do, blah blah, or you know, things like that. But I think it's so important to have guys as friends, just friends. And yes, does it sometimes develop into something romantic? 100%, but not always. And I think for myself, I have a guy friend at home that he just was like so sweet, like, you know, and so often like, ooh, are you guys? And I'm like, oh, please stop. I'm allowed. He's a friend, to just like strictly platonic. And I think we live in a community, and we see everything happens here. People always in people's business. So you could be walking around the Oval with a guy friend, just guy, be like, ooh, are you guys something? It's like, no.
It's true.
You know, so it's just like, whatever. You just have to kind of brush those things off and just continue with your life, don't you?
And I think it's the same, honestly, that like culture like is similar in schools, where I think we can be actually really obnoxious with one another. Like I think sometimes you see guys and girls who are friends and we're always trying to turn it into a relationship, or we're always trying to turn it into like some sort of gossip or something more. And actually like something that I also wish we'd like done more of when I was younger was just leaving people to be and just being like, oh cool, okay, you're friends, great, and encourage people in the friendship. Don't constantly be challenging like, oh but you must like him, oh but you guys would be so great for one another.
I really struggle with this kind of thing, and I always talk with my friends like, you're actually even maybe destroying the possibilities of something actually happening because of the constantly jokes and like playing around and like, oh, this person is coming, oh, look at who's coming, so or like, oh, we should call that person to come over. I'm like, just leave it alone. You know? Just let people be friends, and if something is going to happen, it would be amazing. That's really cool, but just don't press it, you know, because that it's not helpful, not at all.
I don't know about you guys, but the reason I think I was like, why do I get on with guys more? And like, guys actually intrigue me. Like, I'm so fascinated. It sounds flippin' funny. But, because I just love how guys' mind works, Sometimes I'm like, I wish when girls get into a scrap, they can just be like, yo, bro, you want to play a video game? Yeah, it's cool, bro. Yeah, move on. You know? So it's just like, for me, it's just like, oh, I just love, guys are actually, at the end of the day, are very simple. Like, they just, they're, whatever they want, they'll say it, hey, you hurt me. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. You want beer? Like, move on. I wish we girls, I don't know. Whatever it is, like, I wish we could.
How to appease any male.
But talking about, guy friends, you can then end up dating or even marrying your guy friends.
Yeah. Eduardo was my best friend at that time. Yeah. He was the guy that I would talk about anything. Yeah. Like, I would talk about guys with him. Yeah. Like, guys that I thought would maybe fancy, or like guys that was trying to flirt with me. Yeah. That wasn't really fun for him sometimes. Yeah, like, going to the end when he was getting really interested in me. But, that can happen as well. And I would say I believe everybody has a different way to be in a relationship, like the way that they met each other and everything. Yeah. But if I could say, on my experience, be friends first. Yeah. Because I think I'm not talking about being best friends or like, whoa, that is the person, but just be friends. Just get to know each other. Just go out with a group of friends. Just get to know how that person reacts to things, and
And I know people always say the whole thing of like, oh, you don't want to be friend zoned. But I've always said like, oh no, like the friend zone is the end zone. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, to be honest, like if it's gonna work, you want to be good friends with the girl that you like, because the reality is like, I think as women, like we actually just really love companionship, and we love having people that we can feel like we don't have to put a front on, but we can just be our authentic selves with them, have like real conversation. I think one thing I almost would want to like hit on though is like, where do you draw the line with your female male friendships?
It's a big deal.
Of like how much you share or how close you become. Because I remember my second boyfriend, we were such good friends, like such good friends. I would tell people that when I got married, he would be like my like maid of honor, but the male version, like man of honor or something. Yes. And we ended up dating though, and it came from me being like, okay, like we're just way too good friends now. We care about one another way too much. Yeah. Like for us not to either date or actually go, okay, we need to step back. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. And what do you guys think about that? Like, how do you know when you're crossing that line?
I think I remember saying to my sister, my sister and I were having this conversation. I think, let's say I'm single, my guy friend is single, and as soon as one of us get into a relationship, I think your hangouts need to change, just to respect each other's, Really so true. If you're used to hanging out, by yourselves all the time, going to the movies, whatever, then you would have to change that. I think just to respect, your significant other. I just think, for me, I would want that. Like if I had, a guy friend and then, he gets into a relationship, I would feel for her. It's like, okay, I cannot hang out just with you one-on-one, even though this was just strictly platonic, but just to respect.
I would say anything, if you had a boyfriend or a husband, anything you wouldn't want them to be doing with a girlfriend, don't do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think, I think if they're single, you have to keep, there is a line. Don't cross too many barriers. I think we have an instinct of knowing when it's too far into intimate with someone. Yeah. And then you do have to, like, if they have a significant other, or if you do, you have to step back again and look at it from an outside perspective. Okay, what would this say to other people if they saw us hanging out? Yeah. Would they question? Would they think things differently? Not to care what people think all the time, but just out of respect.
Yeah,
it's true. And I think a really important thing is knowing, like, taking time to really know where your heart is at in it, because I think my tendency as a person is always just to go, oh, they're just my friend, they're just my friend, they're just my friend. And I kind of would ignore my emotions and ignore my feelings towards that person, which actually can end up hurting that other person, I think, because then they get vibes and then I'm just there like, oh no. And so, I think for me, like a big piece of advice I'd say to girls, like younger girls, is just like be really aware and intentional of your feelings towards those people. Definitely. Yeah. And if you recognize you're developing like stronger feelings than just friends, like do something about it. Do you know what I mean? Like whether it's just
have the conversation.
Yeah, have the conversation. Exactly.
Even when it's scary, say it.
Sometimes the conversation the first conversation not with that person, but maybe someone that you trust.
Right.
Maybe a perspective from outside would really be helpful to see what is going on. But someone that you trust to have that conversation.
I agree. Well, guys, I think we're reaching the end of our time. It's been such a good conversation. I've loved it.
One of those
things. I feel like we've hit on some like light areas, but some kind of tough, deep ones as well. So
no, it's so good.
I just want to thank you guys for joining us. I hope that you guys really enjoyed this last episode and that you've learned something. Maybe there's something in your life that you're going, oh shoot, I need to talk to that friend, or I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But thank you for joining us at Girl Talk, and we will see you next time.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It was so good.
Exciting.
So good. There's so much more that can go.
You ever find you get the